Good afternoon. Back for another wee vid. So the Stovies one was a bit of a controversial one, but however. So this evening I'm going to make beef and oyster sauce. So I'll tell you what I have. Prawn crackers just as a wee side. I have got 500 grams of fillet steak. That'll be cut into slices and then into thin strips. I've got 4 garlic cloves here. They're going to be chopped up finely. I've got 1.5 teaspoons of white pepper. I have got 1 teaspoon of sugar, and I've got half a teaspoon of MSG. That'll bring it to life. I've got 2 packs of asparagus tips to cut off the woody ends, cut them into wee inch and a half bits, get them washed. I've got oyster sauce, nearly break the pepper dish. I've got some groundnut oil. I have also got some sesame wok oil. And I've got sweet soy sauce, that's for the noodles. And I've got some noodles here, when they're cooked, medium egg noodles. I always use the medium ones for like a stir fry, because the fine noodles are for more like laxas and soups and things like that. So it's medium egg noodles, and I've not got the time nor inclination to go and make my own. I can't be bothered with the faff. This is to feed 3 people, 3 adults. So we're going to use 3 nests of the noodles in the pot, and naturally, I've got myself a glass of red. So as it's Thursday evening, cheers. So anyway, in the words of John Torode, let's cook. Woody bits off. So we're going to cut these into inch and a half. I'm going to rinse them in cold water just to give them a wash. And when you cook the asparagus, the residual water that's on the asparagus when you put it into the wok, the steam that creates helps to cook it and makes it nice and al dente. It's a wee bit firmer. It's nicer. I prefer it. It's nicer like that. So let's get that in a bowl. Right, that's the asparagus washed and drained. And as I say, the water in that is going to help to cook it when it creates the steam when it's in the wok. Next thing, we're going to cut this bit of fillet steak up. Now, you could use rump steak, you could use sirloin. Sirloin's brilliant for this, but I've got a bit of fillet for tonight. 500 grams, that's going to feed 3 adults. So what we're going to do with this, get it cut against the grain. Right, so your fillet steak, as I said, cut into nice kind of thin bits like that. You can see how thin that is there. Fabulous. Right, so move that to the side. Now we're going to cut these into long strips. So you want to be cutting into bits like that. There you go. That's what you want. Right, so that's 500 grams of fillet steak cut into nice strips like that. Nice and good for flash frying. Don't cut your garlic too fine because it can burn quite easily. You can see it there, can't you? Like that. That's the kind of size of garlic bits you want. Noodles are on. Right, so they've been on for 2 or 3 minutes. The reason I've got tongs here is, see when you lift them up like that, it separates them, because sometimes if you're cooking noodles, it's the same with spaghetti as well, incidentally, if you're cooking spaghetti. Just lift them up and just let them drop in. Just let them separate. Because the last thing you want is to lift these things out and it's just a big square lump. Right, now, this wok, we get up to a medium-high heat, so that's when it's 7. So ordinarily, put a wee drizzle of groundnut oil in, and a wee drizzle of that sesame wok oil. Ordinarily, that's for just dressing your food at the end. It gives you a nice kind of nutty flavour. But just to put it in when you're doing a wee bit of frying, it's nice as well. But it's just a wee spot. Don't put too much in because it's quite oily. Right, so where are we? Right, so we're waiting that to come up to temperature. Now you know when a wok's at temperature when it starts to smoke. That needs to go up just a wee tad. When it starts to smoke, that means it's ready for cooking. So we'll just bring it up now. This goes in sequence, incidentally. So the first thing that goes in is garlic. Let me get a Daniel Boone. 1 Daniel Boone. So the garlic goes in. Let me turn this. The garlic goes in first. Don't let it burn, because if you let it burn, it's a disaster. It's really bitter. So garlic first, then the beef, then the oyster sauce. Actually, I'll tell you what I forgot, fish sauce. Somebody put me up for one of the last videos. You touch your face and you touch your ear. Hope you wash your hands. Of course I wash my hands. Right, so that's coming up to temperature. Right, so first thing that goes in is the garlic. Right, so garlic's done. Get the beef in. There you go. Right, so fish sauce. Just a drizzle of this stuff. Oyster sauce. 4 good tablespoons of this. Sugar. MSG. Your white pepper. Beef and oyster sauce, sweet soy, sesame noodles, and a glass of red. What's not to like? Cheers.